Hello, Professor. Welcome to the museum. Please make yourself comfortable. I hope that our refreshments were satisfactory. Good, yes. Lots of tea and little snacks. How was your journey? Good. Well, let's just get right to it. You are the first person to see this besides the team that found it and the team that researched it. So I was part of the team that found it and part of the research. That is why I was chosen to show you the artifact. But I would just like to say I'm very excited. This is such a privilege. I'm so happy that you're here. Had a good journey, and I hope you are excited as well. I am very thrilled to be showing you this. So, of course, as you know, the stories that we have about this object are as accurate as we can get. We certainly think that we are as close as possible, but of course you never truly know what different things were used for and what the significance of such things was, especially when they come from planets other than Earth. So, especially when they come from heretofore very civilizations that don't have much known about them. But this is the bag. As you can see, the beading is very delicate, and there are two types of beading. So there is the more flat beading, and has a very lovely almost like scales or sequins. And then there is the rounded beading. I'll show you the difference in the sounds. Yes, very fine golden material, and you can see the black underneath, and then the back side is all flat. So it's interesting that even in this civilization they valued stripes as a pattern. Shall we open it? Now, the seal is actually magnet. So, and it is also this very lovely gold color. And then we have the smooth interior. And then the first object inside is this golden chain that connects here. So the bag can be transformed as such, having a handle. This is a very interesting design. We haven't seen anything like this in quite a while on our recent digs, so. And I'll show you up close the chain. Very intricate linking design. And then, and we believe this would have been a very, very strong material so as not to break, because these bags were reserved for royalty, and based on some of the items in it we can tell who we think that this belonged to. But so the first item I'm going to show you is this bracelet. So you can see it has pearls in it. Now, I know what you're thinking. These people did not live anywhere near the pearls. But these are, in fact, real pearls. Now, it is well known that pearls were notoriously hard to transport in those times. Any carrier birds were allergic to them. And trading unicorns had a very strong disdain for the pearls. But another clue in this bag leads us to the conclusion that these were brought over by dragon traders. Dragons who flew in to trade with the people. Meaning that these pearls are very likely heat resistant and that the jewelry itself is stretchy. Because this is the only base material that can withstand the heat. There is a sister bracelet as well. So there are two. It is quite fun to imagine what the dragon may have traded for these. It's funny, they come right all the way from the ocean, but via a dragon. Which, of course, dragons don't usually like the ocean, so I find that amusing. But let's move on. I think next I am going to show you this. So this is how we knew that dragons traded with this civilization because this bracelet has fire stones on it. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 fire stones. So this bracelet would usually be given to a daughter because of the 6 fire stones. And as you can see, there are some crystals as well. I'll hold it up for you a little bit more so you can see the details. And then the clasping mechanism is very interesting. So only mountain craftsmen use a mechanism like this. So we know that this was forged in the mountains. Which it's usually a bracelet that has firestone is of course more likely to be mountain forged, but a mountain forged bracelet is also quite rare. So this would fit around the wrist of the daughter that it was gifted to. You can hear it's a very sturdy material. I'll latch it back up. But yes. And yes, my hands and the items have been sprayed with protective coating, so I will not damage them in any way. Alright. Next, let's look at this ring. So this ring is a trophy ring, and it was earned by anyone who completed an incredible feat of strength or other physical achievement. This could have been anything from archery, it could have been throwing, lifting, pulling, it could have been fighting, it could have been riding, it could have been any number of things. The rings are not specific to a specific activity, but they are champions' rings. So it has the victory stones on it. The 4 layers representing grit, determination, power, and resilience. This ring is also stretchy. So this was also likely transported by dragon. This daughter was clearly very fond of gold jewelry. What do I show you next? There are so many great pieces in here. It's hard to know which one to go for next. This one. The beautiful life stones. Based on the life stones and the single charm, can you guess what this one was for? That is right. The owner of this bag had 1 child. Having children was seen as a great achievement and contribution in this society. there's even a little life stone inside of the charm that represents the child, in the hopes that the child may have luck bringing life of their own if they wish to someday. I'll let you look at the stones a bit more closely. They're very, very bright, almost luminescent. These bracelets were usually a group effort because of the way that the civilization raised children, where villages and communities came together and everyone would help with the little ones. Neighbors would all contribute a stone to a life bracelet. So one's life bracelet would be a beautiful symbol of their community as well. There's that charm one more time. Sorry, can't figure out a great way to hold it. There you are. Now, this one is very interesting. I'll let you look at it first. Notice the clear stones here. Here, 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 and here, and here as well. They can reflect and absorb light. You can see prisms of color within them. And then on the back, you can see through. So, this is an air reading bracelet. So, this would have belonged to a flyer, someone who could fly. And those who could fly and used that ability to become protectors of the civilization of the city were given these bracelets. Now, the reason that we know that this does not belong to the owner of the bag is that this is the first bracelet that a flying protector would receive and wear. And we know that the owner of this bag, she lived a very long life. So she would have had at least several more of these bracelets, representing the higher levels she attained in her skill and honors as a protector. I'll show you the clasp really quickly. Very interesting. So this clasp works like this. And then held together like that. And this is a clasp usually used in kind of like, we call them like earth forges, but they were really more just like very on the ground, usually a hut, just very connected with nature. And it's thought that that symbolism and that piece of the earth forge is kind of a reminder to stay grounded and to kind of have a gentle relationship with the earth where you come back to it instead of crashing into it. The symbolism is a bit lost in translation perhaps, but I think it's supposed to be a reminder to stay connected to the earth and view it as a friend. Now, we believe that this bracelet was gifted to the princess by a lover because it was a tradition for any villager or citizen with a skill or power that had a bracelet associated with it, to give their first one to their lover, whether they were married or some folks I think would do it to their lover. So that is where we believe this came from. And I wish that we had more information on the lover and how much time they got together. But I do think it's a good sign that this was still in the owner's bag when she was very old. Alright. Next, we have this coronation headpiece. Now, this means that our owner was a princess. Now, the word princess is maybe a whimsical translation. This civilization, they had elections. Folks were elected into position, but the closest translation of their word for that position would be like princess, prince, royalty. So I suppose you could say queen or king as well. We have sort of between us been calling her the princess, but so plenty of crystals. These are the native crystals to the mountains around the civilization. With more of that rounded gold beading on the exterior and the woven path to indicate the close relationship between the queen and her civilization, her village. It's very beautiful. This is one of my favorite pieces. And then finally, we have this piece. This is how we know that our princess lived a very long life. This was an award given to leaders for 50 years of good leadership service. So here's the pendant, full of those same native crystals, the mountain crystals. A flower in the middle, framed by gold wiring, and then this gold in the exterior teardrop shape. Another flower up here. And then the cord was often made of different materials, and based on the pearls in the other bracelet, and these being made out of pearl and seashell, we are gleaning that the princess was very fond of the sea and clearly held a special relationship to her heart, a special place in her heart. I'll show you the back of the pendant, the front once again. And the pearls and seashells. this was the traditional clasp used on most jewelry. I like to see it as kind of just another touch of home of her civilization. So, there is that. And yes, this will all be our next exhibit. But I wanted to show you first. I hope that you enjoyed that. And yes, we're so open to hear anything else you might want to add about the story of these pieces and anything else you know or interested in knowing. Yeah, please talk to us. We're so happy to have you here and really hope that you enjoyed seeing this. Okay, well, thank you, and please feel free to have your share of tea, cookies, and all of that. Alright, thank you for listening.